Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So, for those of you who wanted a part two, because I left part one pretty abruptly, my puppy was howling at me, telling me that he needed mommy. And he is my dog all day. So, I'm the only one who can attend to his needs, according to Aries. So, I kind of had to squash the end of the storyline quickly in part one. And many of you did want a part two. So, here we go. And thank you guys for the feedback. Glad to know you wanted a part two. So I left all the cards as they were. So we've got them all here and handy. If you didn't see part one, I'll put a free link to it in the description box. But we're just going to kind of pick up where we left off because it was a bit of a cliffhanger, I thought. Like the feminine who's like, she really means it. She's sending out an energy flow in the 5D realm to say, I'm actually done with the 5D connection that we've had. I really want a connection that's going to be something that I can have in the 3D, and I'm the Empress now, and so my feet are on planet Earth. And honestly, I'm not heartbroken, and I'm not angry, and I'm not sad. I'm just sending out the message to let you know it's a little bit of, it's now or never kind of thing. If you want to only keep this connection in the 5D, well, you're going to have to keep it by yourself, because I'm actually going to go ahead and exit now. And our masculine, who came out as a couple of really great kings, but somebody who was still seemingly not taking action, his kind of response to that is like, no, I mean, she still loves me and we're still soulmates, and someday we'll probably still find our way back to each other. And that's kind of where the storyline stopped. And I didn't know if there was any final closure here, because he was getting those messages from her loud and clear, and he was like almost going to move toward her, but his guides were like, whoa, don't, unless you're actually intending on doing something, if you're going to go toward her. So hi, everybody. So let's just take a look and see what we got here. We have a Four of Wands. Okay, so on his side, Four of Wands, but it's sideways, which doesn't really help me to figure this out very much, because normally a Four of Wands is like, if we're growing, if we're reaching for the sky, if we're, going upward, ever upward, that would be one thing. Four of Wands is a great energy balance, but instead we have that Four of Wands sideways. So I don't know. We've got the moon. It's because he doesn't know. From what I can tell, he just doesn't know what he wants to do. There's an acknowledgement that this is the person that I would marry. And his guides were already saying that to him. We saw that earlier when we saw the Hierophant card, when his guides were talking to him. So it's interesting because we certainly have the, I think I know where I want to go, but I still just don't know that I'm going to do it. I don't really even maybe know what holds me back. Now, in this case, it could be something as simple as money. Two of Pentacles. I mean, this person's whole face is green. And we got, little medallions, or in this case, coins over their eyes. I don't know. This to me starts to look a little bit like somebody who is, they could have their mind on the money and the money on their mind. Knight of Cups and the Strength card upright. The way this looks with the Knight of Cups and the Strength card, like he wants to do this. He wants to move forward for love. But I don't get the moon. Why are you confused about what you want to do? Why are you confused about that? Six of Wands. There's some kind of like desire for personal success. Give me another on the Two of Pentacles. Maybe that'll help me understand, because I know I'm missing something here. Ten of Cups. That Two of Pentacles, that Ten of Cups, that desire for happiness. I mean, maybe he thinks, well, I want to be able to give her great happiness, and I still can't, and I have to feel successful. I have to feel like I have plenty to offer, and I'm still just completely focused on money. But what we saw in part one is that there was this heavy contemplation that he was like, you know what? I feel like she's calling out to me. I can hear her calling out to me. I really want to rush toward her. what would you be rushing toward her for if you did? Because it still seems like he's reluctant to acknowledge that this is, she's calling time out now and that she's done with this. He would be rushing forward for passion. Knight of Wands. And what we'd suggested in part one was like to rush forward just in order to, connect to somebody and have like a passionate, like I want to bond to somebody. I want to be, oh, Natalie, thank you, sweetheart. You're so generous. Thank you, hun. I want to come in and be like a bit of a hero, but I'm still going to be in that Four of Pentacles energy. That's what we saw in part one. Now, when I ask point blank, that why would you come forward if you already know you'd come forward to like try to rescue her, so to speak, but then still hold back? And it says, well, I'd like passion. Okay. And there's that Devil card. I think what they want is to not lose her, to hold on to her, to say, I have this person who loves me. She's at a distance from me. We're not together, but I know she loves me and I love her. And once in a while we come back together for, I guess, nookie. I don't know what else to say there. But then I go right back and I remain away, and I still keep trying to pursue whatever would make me feel really successful. And I keep telling myself, until I reach this level of like monetary success, I'm not going to feel successful, but I'm doing it all so that then I can have the 10 of Cups with her. So it's like they're going to forever move a goalpost is basically what this is saying. I'm going to forever move a goalpost out of the way. Hey, AC, night owls, assemble. I saw that comment the other night. You guys, you were adorable. I don't know who said it, AC, if that was you or somebody else, but I thought it was adorable. We got the Eight of Swords upright. Got the Wheel of Fortune upright. Yeah, there's definitely this energy of blocky until divine timing kicks in. But I don't know that divine timing's ever going to kick in when you move the goalpost again and again. So we have this like perpetual stagnancy, but then he has this powerful bond to her. And I got to say this, because the vibe I get out of this is that it is kind of like thrilling, I think, to a certain extent for him, that they have this, even here with the lightning in the hand, that they have this telepathic energy, that it's like he even maybe, I don't know, gets something out of the, like keeping the thrill that we're at a distance. But, if she sends a bat signal out into the sky, then I come running in. We have a night of passion together. I get to feel like a hero. I, give her comfort, when really it's like, well, he wants plenty of physical comfort too. But then still I leave again. And I'm wondering if it's become one of those situations where, like the fantasy of us ever being together, even though everything is, he can talk a good line. Like I just, someday when it's a really, everything is super aligned and the timing is right and it's really powerful, then I'll come forward, knight in shining armor kind of thing. If he's setting this up to where he has to be somebody that, let's say he's setting this really unrealistic goal. I have to have a mansion. Even maybe that gives us a better view of what this Four of Wands is, because Four of Wands can be the card of marriage. It can be the card of, we're going to build our tree of life together. But he doesn't just want like, hey, we're going to be together and we're going to like have a life together. He wants it to be this giant redwood. If you've ever seen the redwoods, I'm a West Coaster. So like, anytime I go to the redwoods, it's like, it's just amazing. You cannot believe how big these trees are. The biggest things I've ever seen. And it's very impressive, very dinosaur era. And this is just one of those situations where you don't have to be that impressive. A marriage or a relationship doesn't have to be like a perfectly, scripted film or movie. You don't have to be a billionaire to have this love story with her. You don't have to be at the peak of whatever, heroic image he has of himself, if that's what the Six of Wands represents. He doesn't have to be the head of the spear who leads, nations. And I don't know what his goal is that he set for himself, but it seems like the level of what he thinks he has to be able to have or create may be so blown out of proportion that, again, it's not even about moving a goalpost anymore. It's that he's making it this ever unattainable he'll never get to her. He'll never be with her because it'll never be the right time if you've set unrealistic expectations for yourself and who you're supposed to be. And, like maybe we all have some dream, like I wanted to be Indiana Jones. Okay. That was my goal in life, is to be Indiana Jones. And I'm not Indiana Jones. I did a little bit of travel, not nearly enough. I would like to travel all the time and never stop, but I would like to have adventures. I would like to go into tombs with giant balls and booby traps. Like that sounds amazing to me. But that goal, if I said that's what I have to be, otherwise I'm no good, then I would never probably get to enjoy my life if I kept saying, but I haven't reached Indiana Jones status. So therefore I'm not successful as a human yet. We can't, it's cool to have dreams and stuff that we want to do, but to keep it in perspective so we don't cheat ourselves out of our real life. He has a real love story that is quite magical. I mean, he's connecting with her in the 5D all the freaking time, but he will not land the plane and come home and just be in the 3D. Not until he's whatever his version, his Indiana Jones version is, right? So he's cheating himself out of the real life, is what I think this is saying. Universe, you want to weigh in on my assumptions? This is a specific storytelling, but we kind of just went pretty broad there. We've got a 5 of Wands sideways, and we've got the 10 of Swords sideways. Well, I wouldn't backtrack from kind of what I just said, although the universe summarizes it better than I did. It's basically like all the thinking in circles, you can always find another reason to not accomplish the thing that you wanted to, or move the goalpost, or overanalyze stuff and determine that there's some other drama you got to deal with, or some other money you got to make before you can have your happiness. And while you're doing that, your happiness is actually dying. The thing that you want most, that 10 of Swords, is slipping away every single day. This love story is slipping out of his fingertips. And in this case, the universe is like, he knows it though. This really isn't a secret from him. So universe, do you have a piece of advice just for him on this? Because we're at that point of no return, because she's sending out that final, message to him. The universe says 6 of Pentacles. And here we go again. This whole storyline has been like all this 5D telepathy conversation, nothing happening in the 3D realm. And so now the universe is like, hey, you know what? This relationship, if you're content to only keep it in the 3D, or excuse me, in the 5D realm, then congratulations, you've accomplished that. It exists only in the 5D. The only place that you really have access to her now is in the 5D. That's the only place you ever really gave to her. Because coming in for a little bit of passion, or thinking about coming in for a little bit of passion while still saying, oh, but I can't stay in her world, that's, meeting her in a hotel or something, that's not going to cut it. So the universe says point blank, the only thing you've given her is a 5D connection, is the truth of it. And an Empress is not, it's like saying, if I invited all of you to my house for dinner, and then I served you these beautiful plates with nothing on them, and I said, there you are, I cooked you a dinner in my mind. Nobody's going to feel full. And y'all are going to say Kate throws the worst dinner parties ever. And I would deserve that title, because I just gave you imaginary food. In my mind is the only place that exists. I didn't give you anything. And everybody goes home hungry and probably cranky. We wouldn't go to a restaurant and pay them for a plate full of air, but they get to tell us that they thought about giving us that food. Therefore, it's just as good as if they did. That's the equivalent of a relationship that only exists in this crazy 5D realm. And the universe is just pointing it out. Yes, you gave your thoughts, but your thoughts don't pay the bills, don't feed somebody, don't keep somebody warm at night. So if that's all you want to give, then you met the mark. And, giving somebody your thoughts and I guess our thoughts and our emotions are energies, but it's not, it doesn't have any tangible qualities to it. Not really. especially not if it's all done at a distance. So this is really, the universe is just pointing out, you gave her a plate full of air. And that's about the best way I could say that. And she is a Queen of Wands. And we saw her, I don't know where the card is now, but we saw her sitting here as a Queen of Wands, bags packed, closing down this whole energy sequence and sending him that final letter to basically, and it's an energetic letter on her part, like I'm actually leaving this 5D connection behind. I'm leaving you behind now. And the universe is just doubling down on that, saying, you notice how that I didn't draw this on the card. It's there, that circle around the tummy. It's like the universe is saying, she's hungry and you keep giving her plates of air. She can't eat air. So the Queen of Wands is going to say, I'm hungry, I'm leaving. And there goes your Queen of Wands. She's always going to be your Queen of Wands because you're going to remember how much you want her. But just know somebody else is going to be feeding her tummy. So let that be a euphemism for all kinds of things. But yeah, this is done. Six of Wands. Okay, so hang on. This is a very sensual card. I have to cover it because she is uncovering herself. We'll leave it at that. She's literally got like a leopard's head biting a gazelle, and there's a $20 bill that she's holding in her hand. She's basically, and this is a very highly sensualized card on the bottom half, which is why I have to keep that covered. But what this says to me is that this feminine is literally pointing out, again, I'm hungry for something real. I couldn't care less about whether you earn $20 more, staying away from me. I'm hungry. I'm a real human with real needs. So at this point, you would have been more successful if you had satisfied the fact that I needed you here. Instead, you traded me for $20. I mean, the equivalent, right? I'm sure they were looking for a lot more than, if they were all career oriented, they're working for the dollar. But she's like, to be as successful as my partner, you needed to care about my needs. I didn't need you to care so much about your money. You traded me for $20. So that's kind of the way this is. I mean, this is very blunt. We started out much softer in the first part, and now we got pretty blunt. I guess my final question over here would be, we can see she's really done here. And I still think he was sitting in disbelief. Are you still in disbelief, masculine, or are you realizing that this is really the end of the road for the 5D? He says 10 of Cups. What does that mean? Oh, well, I didn't expect that. If he's okay, so the guides in part 1 grabbed a hold of his arm at one point and said, you don't go toward her unless you know what you're going for. Back over here when he was a King of Swords. And his power animal came up and said, don't send her any physical message. Do not write to her unless you go toward her and you intend to give more than just, I'm going to hang out for a day or a night, check in on you. You cannot write her or reach out to her in any way, shape, or form. Don't go near her unless you're ready to offer something of great substance. And what's so crazy is, I mean, all this time he's kind of still been ignoring this, but now in the 11th hour, it looks like he's saying, okay, yeah, I think I'll go toward her. Yeah, I want that 10 of Cups. Yeah, I do. I would like to move toward her completely then with the Chariot. Really? I'm sorry. Now I'm like, what? What? Was it the sensual card or what that did it? We still have the Hierophant sideways for him. This is, is he awakening? Is he coming into the alignment? We've got, this is somebody who should be awakening, right? The card is sideways. We've got the 8 of Pentacles in the reverse. We've got the 3 of Swords upright. Oh, so we had a stark look at what it would be like. It's he's realizing that, yes, it will be an empty, vacant spot in my life. There aren't any more obstacles that he needs to clear to get to her. There's nothing more that he needs to still work on or do or be or, elevate toward. He just needs to awaken to the fact that you're about to lose the person that you want because you keep moving goalposts. And I think he's realizing that that's, it's the equivalent of leaving this beautiful rose out here in this frozen tundra and causing them grief that you're causing them, loneliness, but you don't care because you still got to, pursue your perceived, life of perfection before you can ever have a be present in a relationship. I think that he's awakening to that. Now, I still say, hopefully, this full recognition of this comes in time, because this is her cutoff point. Is he going to make it in time? Remember, this storyline started with, okay, so yes, he's going to make it in time. But this storyline started with, all I could see was, in my mind's eye, from like the nose down, I just saw like a masculine's face that had like maybe 2 days worth of like stubble growing on it. I was like, I don't know. I guess that's like passage of time. Like time has gone by just because hair has grown. But when we say, is he going to get there in time? Well, this is where we have to say, thank goodness that these two had a bit of like that telepathic connection, because that's where some of the bond is still there. Even if she's calling time out on this, saying that you're moving on. Let's put it this way. If I said that I was, let's say, done with this video, in truth, before the video is really done, I have to go down and I have to click a button. And even then, it still gives me a second opportunity, another button that I have to click. And then it takes me to the page where I can start to do, some of the adjustments that I have to make behind the scenes. But for a little bit, the chat will actually still keep running after I click the first end button. So it's like, even though I'm done, I've stopped talking and I'm exiting, I'm still not actually gone until I go for the second button and then get into the, like the back room where I can start editing. And I feel like maybe that's the way to look at this. She's sending out that final message. I'm done. This is it. This is time out. But maybe the connection isn't fully disconnected yet, because it gives him we're talking just the right amount of time for him to jump up, grab a hold of all these ropes and put the final capstone on his pyramid. This 10 of Wands is the laying down of burdens, obstacles, problems, the things that maybe he's insisted he still had to complete. He still had all these reasons that he wasn't ready for this. It might have been his own burdens, his own wounds, his own things that he just wasn't wrapping it up. He wasn't just admitting that he can let other stuff go. Other things aren't as important, and then put the relationship on the forefront, the 3D relationship. Look, she's always been on his mind. Always, always, always. He was Willie Nelsoning himself through this story. She was always on his mind. But that's not enough anymore. He needs to be present. And it's like, I'm hearing Sam and Dave. Hold on. I'm coming. Hold on. Shelby Lucas, welcome, sweetheart. Thank you so much for being here. And we've got the 5 of Swords. 5 of Swords is sideways. This 5 of Swords vibe is, look, I think he's going to get some flack. Maybe this is the other thing he was afraid of. If he really just simply moves toward her and it's like, this is it. I'm locking this in. I'm dialing this in. I'm going to go have my 10 of Cups. I'm going to go be with her. I'm going to become the emperor who rides in the chariot and goes straight toward the person that I love. Then that means he has to explain what he's doing, possibly to other people in his life. I don't know what environment he was in, but if there's any toxic group or any, this always is my group of meatheads. Okay. Wasps or meatheads. It doesn't matter what gender, but that's what I call them. Is like the group that they pretend to be friends, but they're frenemies. They always got those zingers. They're just kind of, they challenge each other, but not really for any good reason. It's a hostile environment. The 5 of Swords is not nice. you can pretend you're nice, but you say mean things, intending to be cutting, and it razzing and just challenging for no good reason. Putting your nose where it doesn't belong and saying rude things to somebody, criticizing their life choices, trying to kind of like demand that they answer where are you going? How come you're going to so and so? Oh, it almost feels like this could be a bunch of people that they have to, maybe they didn't want to face this either. Maybe I mean, it's a really foolish reason for a full grown adult to be like, well, I don't want to go to be with the person that I love because, the meatheads that I work with will be like, oh, aren't you whipped? You're going to go get married. Just sounds really stupid. That sounds so juvenile. I don't know that I think it's as simplistic as that. This is probably like a whole nother layer of, there is going to be pushback, them making this life change. Maybe this is what they were trying to overcome. Maybe this hostile environment. Maybe this is what made them push and say, I'm still not good enough. I'm still not good enough. Well, you're never going to feel good enough if this is who you surround yourself with. I think this is a really great break for him to get away from this stupid group. Because this is mean spirited. I don't know. I don't love the mean spirited. It probably is like, even in my storytelling, like I'm like, ew, I don't like that. I don't like the bullying at all. I mean, I was always overweight as a kid, so like bullying is one of those things. Most of my life I've been overweight, and I think that when you're steeped in it and you see the meanness and you grow up with it consistently and you know how hard it is to like get that out of your head as an adult, I think that's probably the reason I'm just like, I just don't like it. I think that kind of energy, even though it sounds foolish, like why would that be such an issue? That level of continual barrage can do like a number on your head, and it can be harder to get over. You spend your whole life sometimes just, like, I know it's stupid. I know it doesn't count. And I know that it shouldn't be something that shapes a self-image, but it can, even as you know that it shouldn't. You know that, but it still shapes your mind sometimes, and then you consciously have to work through that. And I'm thinking that's the best way I could describe this, and give like an analogy for that. So I think that might be a component of like where some of the obstacle was. Why did he move the goalpost? Why was there always this thing where I'm still not good enough? Well, if you're steeped around people, and let's say his toxic environment was just people that were, always, nitpicking for one reason or another. This could be family. This could be, work colleagues. This could be a really challenging environment. That could have been maybe the explanation as to why in his mind it was like, I'm still not good enough. I know she loves me and I love her, but I have to be able to come in and bring everything. Everything has to be perfect. Like maybe this person has had a hyper drive to be perfect because of the environment they were in. I know it just gives kind of a different spin on, and maybe fleshes out a little bit of, that's a weird card to have here, as he's going to lay down a heavy burden and go toward love. And then we see, wow, the final component of this is he's got to lay down some kind of, like I say, like a mindset of, conflict or something. So anyway, kind of an interesting one for sure. I'm glad that we got to round it out with this, but we didn't finish with her. So we do just need one or two last cards, I think, on her side, because if he's making these changes, I feel like we want this deck instead. If he's making these changes, then I'm going to go ahead and get one more. Yes, Roadbud, it is. This is part 2 of that one. Yes, sweetie. We have the World card for her. We said she was like sending out that message. And if we go all the way back to part 1, our first cards, which I think are right here, I was saying it's interesting because he was hovering above the world a little bit. We saw the map and he was like off planet. And I was like, okay, so these two are someplace still connecting in the 5D realm. They're not really in the 3D. And we saw her saying, but I want it to be in the 3D now. I gotta do the 3D stuff. And here we still see her now. She's like of the world, ready to start a new beginning, ready to close out an old cycle. But you notice she's only halfway like moved on from this. He will definitely get to her in time. I'm wondering if in the energy realm, maybe she's she really meant it. She really is letting him go, but she's getting a message from her guide. She's getting some little let's see, what is her guide saying to her? Because Four of Pentacles says, do not wait for him. Do not wait for him. She's making the right choices in closing out the chapter, choosing to see herself as single, and choosing to go ahead and pull her energy back and cut down communication completely with him. And this is like, she may even stop thinking about him. If she used to send messages to him or think things toward him or, you know, hold him in her heart, even her guides are like, he needs to feel your absence. That's the only way probably the shutting down of this energy field that they share will actually really register. That could be an important part of why he kicks into high gear. You know, it has to be for real this time. And if she's like, okay, I'm done, but not really, it wouldn't be the same. She really had to mean it. There is, with that World card, she does really mean it. It's the time, and she's moving forward too with that Eight of Wands. She's turning her attention to other things. She is tuning out any old, you know, energetic bond that she had to him, and she is looking toward other things. She might be filling her life with new people, new adventures. She might be planning to take a trip. She might be all kinds of things that she maybe didn't do when she was still giving a lot of space and time in her mind and heart to connect to him. She's going to start to fill those gaps with, you know, activities and things. I actually think she's going to be a lot happier, which is just ironic because we know he's on his way into her, but she needs to really distance and let him go completely, is what the guide says to her in this story. Hi, Sabrina. Thank you so much, sweetheart. You were so, oh, baby, did you got a boo-boo? Honey, you have a broken wing on your little icon there. I hope you're not wounded, honey. Please heal swiftly. It's an adorable little emoji. I didn't mean to laugh at a wound, but it was just adorable. For our feminine, we have that Three of Pentacles. She might even start dating somebody else. I mean, this could all happen quite swiftly. She is sending that final energetic message. I release you. I move on. She is connecting to herself. She's starting, like, maybe this is right about the 6-month mark. Maybe she's actually been shutting this down for the last 6 months. And that's why, I mean, for all I know, just because we picked the storyline up with her sending the final message, maybe she's been transmitting this again and again. You know, we're almost at this, I can't believe we're almost at the 6-month mark of this year. It's unbelievable. Where did the last, 5 months go? I have no idea. But it just feels like maybe she's been closing this out. And I only say that because we literally have half of a year here. So, I mean, what do we have? 8 days left of this month, 9 days left. Maybe that's what where we picked up the story is like, she's actually at the end of a closure of, done transmitting to them. And she's been slowly but surely turning her attention, like she feels single. She feels ready to meet somebody else. She's been withdrawing and detaching and closing cycles and kind of remembering to forget him every day a little bit more. Moving on, looking toward her future, interested in meeting somebody else, interested in doing different things. She's changing her life. I didn't realize that that's where she was at, that she was actually already, I guess I should have, if we go back to this Queen of Wands card from part 1, I probably should have already guessed that, but it didn't click for me until just now with that World card. Knight of Wands. Oh, she is like about to date somebody new. She is so close to going out with somebody new with that Knight of Wands. A new passion, new interest. 6 of Wands, 7 of Pentacles. And she feels really good, and she feels really like she's ready for the next chapter of her life. Then what are you going to think when it's him who still comes towards you in his chariot? We're talking like the last seconds here of, okay, Tower. It's going to rock her world. I think to see him in the 3D, because I think it's been a long time since she's seen him in the 3D. I think it might be almost like a mind bender for her. It might be like, I'm picturing somebody who's like literally dropping a coffee mug and, it's shattering on the floor or something. Watch out for your toes. Sorry, I just had this instantly. I was like, ouch. Oh my God. Six of Cups. Wow. Well, she doesn't have any doubt in her mind that all this time, all of that telepathy, all of that energy together, that they've still thought of each other all this time. She's like, wow, that was all legit, wasn't it? Because I let him go, and he knows I let him go. And that's why he's shown up now in the 3D now on this grassy, planted his feet on earth. He finally landed the plane. He's finally here. It's going to be a shocker for her on one hand, because now there's proof that there was something all this time in the energy world that they shared, and he got the memo. You need to be here, but if you don't want to be, then I need to let you go, and I am letting you go, and I really truly am moving on. This is going to be a stunner for her, but also maybe like a wonderful sense of connection. Page of Pentacles. Look, in this story, they start again from scratch. And I mean, we're talking they have to start again from the very, very, very beginning. Page of Pentacles. Even though they already have considerable history, they have considerable 5D realm history. I think the majority of their time together was all in the 5D, so they weren't together at all. This is them finally, Pentacles are tangible. This is them finally starting to, we have to get to know each other in the 3D. We have to actually start to date. We have to, they might have to start out with a handshake. Hi, I'm so-and-so. I mean, obviously they know each other very well at a certain level, in the energetic bond level, but they have to now try to actually date. And that has to start from the very ground up, even though they already have so much history. We get one final message. 3 of Cups, 8 of Swords. It's interesting because I almost feel like I always look at these hula hoops like a Venn diagram, and obviously 3 people are all squished into one. I feel like it's time that I think he's stepping into her world, like into her family. I almost wonder if that's what he didn't have. He didn't have like a background of, acceptance and warmth. We kind of already saw that when we saw that 5 of Swords card. For the longest time, also, this is more like putting our like little guardian angel or our guide in a little, well, in this case, a bird cage. So we trap it so we don't have to hear it. We don't have to hear the messages coming to us all the time saying, you do know this is your family. This is who you belong with. You don't belong in the hostile territory. You belong with me. We could have a lot nicer time, but you got to listen to your guides. You already knew this. I already knew this. We already knew this. We could have been happier together. But for some reason, it was like, I can't, even though the message was always getting through. Look, there was never a time when there was not a desire. And I think she knows this. And I think this will be something we can now talk about. But there was never a time when he wouldn't have maybe preferred to be in her world. But it's almost like he's not allowed to just go and be in a happier life or be, he's got to stay in his toxic world and prove himself there, because to go toward her, it would be like weak. It would be like, oh, I'm not going to stay here and fight the fight against the group of meatheads. I'm going to tap out and just go live a happily ever after in her unicorn world. But that's just stupid. That's like choosing punishment for no reason, choosing to prove ourselves to the wrong group of people instead of choosing to come to like a really loving environment. When the guides were saying it, their heart was saying it, she was calling out to them, but they were still, they definitely had some stubborn, like weird, like chip on their shoulder. I can't, tap out. I have to keep staying in my toxic environment. I'm not allowed to go toward your happier life and have that with you. I'm not allowed to have a softer life, a more loving environment. I have to stay where it's, rude and it's constant struggle and I get razzed all the time. There is some weird stereotype thing that was a part of this, like this, I gotta be the man. I gotta suffer. I gotta stay stoic. I gotta be in an unpleasant environment to prove I can. No, that's stupid. that's stupid. And that's not what it is to be a man or a woman. It's not to suffer, to prove how much suffering you can endure. my gosh, the intelligent, it's not even a gender thing. It's to be an intelligent person, choose the best path, get to building. Don't waste energy with people that are toxic. Shut it down, close it out, get yourself out of there and go someplace where you can build and grow. That's the best use of a human life. That's the best use of anything that we've got, as divine beings. I that's just my personal opinion, but I'll stand on that hill all day long. It's just interesting. They had to get to the point where it doesn't matter anymore. And I think she had to kind of almost push them to that and be like, I'm really done now because you're not here to be with me because you want to stand and prove yourself someplace else. Then that's it. I'm really gone. That she had to get that serious before they were like allowing themselves to say, this is stupid. What am I doing? Proving myself elsewhere when I want to be with her. When that's a better place to put my loyalties also, instead of proving something foolish to a bunch of meatheads that are always going to be meatheads. I don't know. That was a weird, I don't know who they were still trapped trying to prove themselves to, but it was like a battle either within themselves, but it was also a battle that was external to them that was being reflected in that group of people that they were around. But it took a lot for them to finally stop insisting that they had to stay and prove themselves in the wrong location. All right. I hope that was articulated in a way that made sense. It's tough when I do these stories live. I only got one shot to get it right. So anyway, you guys, thank you so much for being here. RS, you're adorable. Casey, it's my pleasure. Thanks for watching part 2. Decoded. That's, you know what? Beautifully said. That's so perfect. Outdated programming. Yes. Miss Sylvia Observer, great to see you, love. 01 frequency. Hey. Sarah J, yes. Now you've totally got me picturing them as like wrestlers in their little like Speedos. And like some of them have the luchador masks on, which I love. Sandy, thank you, love. So great to catch you. Cosmo Guy, hi, Ed. Oh, you made it just in time. I got to say hi to you. That's perfect. Sabrina, thank you again, love. Oh, Slay Princess, you angel, thank you. I so appreciate you guys. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Thank you for reminding me, Slay Princess. T-Baby, awesome to see you. Hey, Dana. I hear you, Decoded. Leandria Rini, great to see you. Dwayne Anderson's in the house. Hi, Dwayne. Hi, Nick. Science Servant, great to see you. Great name, too. Just Out of Reach 77. Thank you, Sabrina. Hey, Delinda. Ms. Mika Love, my pleasure. Delinda, I still owe you a Fucus Crowd video. I probably won't get to it tonight. I don't know. I just feel like I'm flagging in energy tonight. I'm probably just going to do one other one over on the other channel. I'll do a today's topic, and then I think I'm going to actually call it a night really early tonight so I can. It's been just a really busy 48 hours, and I feel like if I don't get some rest, I just know that I will probably not be able to have a really good day tomorrow. And I really want to get us caught up on some zodiacs. And then this weekend, we have a wonderful 3-day weekend, and I intend to put out videos all weekend. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. But I want to be rested for it. RS, Olivia, thank you. And thank you again, Shelby Lucas. Just so you know, Shelby, Mondays are Members Day. So, and for members, just so you guys know, there's, I just started another little perk that is not really officially listed, but I was describing it in this Monday's video. So you can check out, there's a members playlist, Shelby, and you can just go to that playlist and then you can look through any of the members videos. But the one that was most recently posted was from this week. And so you will hear me roll out another members perk. Hi, Chrissy. I know, let a girl eat. Hey, Yellow Tooth. Oh my gosh, Dana. Yes, I could totally understand that. There better be some chow at that dinner. Victoria Rose Noir, great to see you. Hi, Eliana. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. Oh, Eliana, that makes me so happy. I feel like I was there with you. That's so cool. You were on a dirt road bison tour at Catalina Island today. The tour guide was playing the Indiana Jones theme song. That's awesome. Hi, Benya. Thank you for being here. I agree with you, Miss So the Observer. Love the redwood forests. Natalie, thank you again, sweetheart. Thank you so much. Hey, Mary Jones. Juliet, thank you. You must be a yellow fan too, huh? I like yellow also. Hi, Dee. Violet, Annette Summersby, FK Slay. So great to see you. Violet, you were the fourth in the house, so that means you won. Cataclysmic Awakening. Thanks for being here, guys. Really nice to see everybody. Hi, Christine. I almost missed you there. Thanks again, Nick. All right, everybody. I will see you on the other channel for just one more over there, and then we'll wrap it up. But lots of love. Bye, guys.